Hello friends, I'm Narendra Verma once again before you. So earlier in business studies for class 12 CBSE syllabus, we finished planning chapter, right? So today we are going to start the another chapter of business studies, that is organizing, right? If we see the functions of management, that comes the second function after planning. Alright, in planning also we learned that implementation of plan activates the other functions of management, right? And what is the next function of management after planning? That is organizing, right? So we need to learn about organizing today. So what topics we are going to cover in this session? Meaning of organizing, definition of organizing, and process or steps of organizing, right? So let's start. So meaning of organizing. Okay, let's understand that. Organizing is nothing but keeping the resources in the best arranged manner. Alright, in short, I can tell you that. Okay, I just would like to give you the example of your home. Okay, in your home, you keep everything organized. Where the things are supposed to be kept, you keep them. Where the people are supposed to live, the people live there. You have a dining room, you have kitchen, you have bedroom, you may be having one special study room for studying. Alright, so this is called organizing. In an enterprise also, the organization has to make such kind of arrangement. Alright, so that the activities of the organization may go smoothly. Okay, as we know that this function of management comes after planning, right? So basically it includes two things. One, procurement of resources, and another, allocation of resources in most effective and efficient manner. Alright. So organizing is nothing but procurement and allocation of resources in the most efficient and effective manner so that the goals of the organizations may be achieved. Alright. So this function of management has to be applied very sincerely so that the plans which have been drawn, these may be implemented successfully. Alright, means the procurement and allocation of the resources must be done in such a manner that all the goals of the organizations are achieved in the smooth manner, or we better say the most effective and efficient manner. So you can say that organizing is a means to translate the plans into action. Okay, whatever we chalk down the activities under the planning process, now it's time to give them the actual shape. Okay, earlier the organization thought that we need to purchase machinery, so now it's time to purchase that machinery and make efforts to purchase that. Alright, so that comes under organizing. And when we say resources, then it does not talk about only the physical resources, it also talks about the human resources. Human is also a resource. Alright, so organizing includes both human resource as well as the physical resource procurement and allocation. Okay, so different organizations may be exercising the function of organizing in their own manner. Alright, say for the example, there is the one enterprise which deals in the manufacturing of the products. There is the another enterprise which deals only in the trading. And there is the another enterprise which deals in providing the services. Alright, so these three of the enterprises may be organizing their resources in their own manner and different manner. Few things will be common and we are going to learn the common things over here, but the actual application may differ. Okay, we'll be discussing about it. Okay, one more thing let me tell you. The function of organizing leads to creation of organizational structure. Now, another new term has come to you, organizational structure. Now the question arises, what is that? What does it mean? For this, we'll be having the detailed discussion in the another sessions. Right now, I just gave you the idea. Okay, Organizational structure is a kind of framework on which the organization has to function. Okay, it generally includes the hierarchical structure. Okay, means how many positions or designation will be there in the organization. There will be one CEO, then under him there will be how many managers. Okay, then under those managers how many assistant managers, and then under those assistant managers how many executives will be there. All right, so that comes under the organizational structure. Okay, so in detail we'll be having discussion about it. Okay, in short, you need to understand that the organizational structure includes the designation of the different roles of the personnel working in the organization. Okay, and the reporting relationship, or we can say the interrelationship between or among them. Okay, so that comes under this, as well as the logical grouping of the activities. Okay, we'll be learning all this by and by. So it was all about the meaning of organizing. Now with the help of the information that I have shared with you, we can frame the definition of it. Alright, so let's see here what is the definition. I'll just write down here. So definition of organizing. Okay, I have just written the definition here, we can read it. Organizing can be defined as a process, right? It is a process, because when I was explaining you the functions of management, I told you that all the functions of management, planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling are the process themselves. Alright, already we have learned about planning, now we are learning about the organizing. It also has certain steps today we are going to learn. Alright, so it is a process that initiates implementation of plans. Like I told you that the organizing translates plans into action. Okay, at this point only the implementation of the plans takes place. Okay, so that initiates implementation of plans. How? By clarifying jobs. Clarifying jobs means just to identify, just to specify that how many activities are going to happen in the organization. Alright, let's take the example of one school. Okay, so in a school, how many activities can be there? Okay, one activity is teaching, another activity is monitoring, another activity is maintaining records, maintaining accounts, okay, and maintenance of the whole premises, okay, collection of the fee. So many activities can be there, many more. Alright, so how it is going to implement the plans? By clarifying the jobs. Very first, the jobs means how many pieces of work can be there. Okay, so that has to be clarified. And after that, working relationship. So there has to be clarification of two things. One, jobs, and another, working relationships. Working relationship means that who will report to whom, who is senior, who is junior, how many people will be working under whom. Okay, if I talk about one organization, that one is the general manager, then he will be subordinated by how many assistant manager, and thereafter how many subordinates will be there for each assistant manager. So that has to be also decided. Okay, clarification has to be given on that as well. Fine. So clarifying jobs and working relationships, and effectively deploying resources. Like I explained you, allocation of resources. So effectively deploying resources for attainment of organizational goals. Why this all is happening? For attainment of the organizational goal. So this is one definition, the comprehensive definition. Otherwise you may read the several definitions given by the many scholars and authors. Okay, they have defined the organizing in their own way. Okay, this is the comprehensive definition, which includes a lot. After that, we can conclude that it is a process which coordinates human efforts, assemble resources, and integrate both of them for specified objectives. Alright, means human resources and their efforts have to be coordinated. Okay, and other resources have to be put together for the attainment of the specific objectives. Alright, okay, so once again you can read the definition. Organizing can be defined as a process that initiates implementation of plans by clarifying jobs and working relationships and effectively deploying resources for attainment of organizational goals. Alright. So it was all about the meaning and definition of organizing. Now let's move ahead. We are going to learn steps, or we can say process of organizing. Okay, so steps or process of organizing. Okay, so there are 4 steps. 1, identification and division of work. 2nd, departmentalization, or we can call it grouping of the activities. Assignment of duties, and the last one is establishing reporting relationship. If we exercise all these steps, then only the process of organizing gets completed. All right. Okay, here I have left the space empty because you know very well, to remember all these steps together in the same sequence, you need to get a code from my side, and you know that all the codes are pretty unique, unusual, so that you can remember them for longer period. Okay, so I just write down what is the code today. So the code is identity departs and assigns establishment. Okay, we'll have to imagine that if there is a person who is willing to make his career, then very first he has to search about his identity, okay, which has been somewhere departed from him. We'll have to imagine, then he works hard, tries to search his identity, okay, and then it assigns him establishment, then he becomes something, okay, he becomes successful. So you'll have to imagine a kind of situation like that. Fine. By this, what will happen? We will always remember all these steps together. How? This identity is related to identification. If you remember the identity, you will always remember, I can guarantee you, the identification. Alright? Okay, and departs will remind you departmentalization, and assign will remind you assignment of duties, and establishment will remind you the establishing reporting relationship. Alright? So, by this code, you can remember all these 4 steps together in the same sequence. Alright? So let's move ahead. Let's understand these steps one by one. The very first is identification and division of work. Let's understand it. See, identification of work. Like I told you, we need to see in an enterprise how many kinds of activities can be there. Okay. For example, if we take the example of one manufacturing enterprise. Say for example, there is the one enterprise which deals in the manufacturing of school bags. Alright, now for the manufacturing, okay, they need raw material, okay, and after that they need plant and machinery, okay, they need human resources, okay, and they need the factory, the place, okay, and they need various other things. Okay, they need to establish contact with people. Okay, so various kind of other activities related to maintenance of records, finance, etc. So these can be the broad activities for one enterprise which deals in the manufacturing of school bags. Alright, okay, so if you are going to set up an organization related to manufacturing of school bags, then you have to think about how many kinds of activities are going to take place. For that I need to make arrangements. Okay, one step you have already done. You have set your objectives, you have found out other ways how to do the things, okay, and you have selected one best way. It's time to implement everything. Okay, and while implementation, as per the plans, we have to stick to the plans. We will have to identify them. Okay, one point. Another, we need to divide the work into small activities or small pieces. Okay. So we need to very first identify the work, and thereafter we need to divide those pieces of work into small activities. And this has to be done in such a manner that there is no duplication of efforts. Okay, and the burden of the work is shared by all people working in the organization. Alright, so it should not be like that. If we do not do that, then what's going to happen? Maybe possible that one particular activity is being done by more than one person. Okay, so we'll have to already decide about it. We'll have to identify the jobs, and then we'll have to break them into small pieces. Okay, like example I gave you. Okay, one work is there, buying the raw material. Fine. Another work is there, just loading the raw material. One is making the deal, another just to go buy and load that material. Okay. Another activity can be there, just making the entry of that material in the godown. Okay, in the factory. Okay, and then another activity can be there, just putting the raw material in the standard quantity in the machine so that the product can be made or manufactured. Alright, so these can be the activities. Another can be the activity, the arranging the funds for purchasing the raw material. Okay, keeping the stocks, everything. Okay, so there can be multiple and various activities in an organization. The organization has to identify very first the broad category of work. Okay, and thereafter that broad category of work has to be divided into small pieces, that is known as the small activities. All right. Now let's move on to another step. So the second step of organizing is departmentalization, right? See, this term has been generated from department. And what does it mean? See, the second step relates to keeping the same nature of activities under one group, or we can call it grouping the related activities only under one head. Okay, and this grouping or departmentalization can be done on three bases. One, on the basis of function, another on the basis of the products, and the other one on the basis of the territory or region. Alright, I just explained you that. Okay, a moment back I just gave you the example of one manufacturing unit which deals in manufacturing of school bags. Okay, so there were various activities related to purchase of raw material. I told you 2 and 3 activities. One, just making the deals of the purchase. Another, just going, buying, loading the material, and another just to make entries in the factory. Okay, so these are the 3 activities, but these all activities are related to the one function, that is purchase. Understood? Okay, so we can form one special department for that, which is known as purchase department, right? So all the activities I have just discussed will be put under this only, and this department will be headed by one single individual. Okay, and all will be working under him. Fine. So one department can be there for purchase. Okay, similarly one department can be there only for finance. Okay, as many activities related to arranging the funds, making entry of the funds, giving the funds, okay, making accounts, preparing reports related to accounts, okay, that can be grouped under one specific department, that is finance department. Okay, similarly other activities can be there. After you have manufactured the material, now you need to do the marketing. Okay, for that various activities have to be planned for the advertisement and selling. Okay, so in that case you can group all these activities under one department, that is marketing department. Okay, or you can make a separate department by sales department. Fine. So as many departments as per the requirement organization can create. Okay, there can be multiple departments. In the big organization, recruitment of the person is really a very complex task. So that is why they maintain separate department for that. That is human resource department. You must have heard that, HR department. Alright, so this HR department does all the activities related to human resource. Okay, they do the recruitment, they conduct the interviews, they select the people, they train the people, they give their promotion. Okay, they make them understand rules and regulation, everything. Okay, so all these activities come under what? HR department, and one person becomes the head of this, who is known as HR manager. Okay, similarly here we can have finance manager, marketing manager, sales manager. Understood? The positions can be created. That's the another task. Okay. So in departmentalization, two things happens. Okay. One, we have to create the departments, or we can say the separate groups relating with the same nature of activities. We put the same nature of activities under one head or department. Okay, so this is done under departmentalization. Another process is done just to create positions. Alright, how many positions will be there? So this was the example on the basis of the functions. Alright, now let's discuss the another base, that is what? Products. On the basis of the products as well, you can group the activities. Alright, say for example, one company is dealing in the manufacturing of the multiple products. Okay, there is the one automobile company, for example, which deals in the two-wheeler as well as the four-wheeler. Okay, so they can have the separate divisions because the activities related to two of the products is entirely different. Alright, so for two-wheeler they have separate division, and for four-wheeler they have separate divisions. So that grouping is done on the basis of the products. Understood? Okay. Now let's take the example of the territory. On the basis of the territory also it can be done. Okay, and this is done in case of big corporate houses. How? Okay, in the big organization, what they do, just for having the better control, they just divide their work into different regions on the basis of the territory. Means they have separate division for north region, okay, and separate for south region. Fine, on the basis of the region they have divided. Multiple regions can be created: north, south, west, east, northeast, central, western. Okay, so these can be done. Alright, so that is also the grouping of the activities. Fine, so under departmentalization, the grouping of the activities is done under one department, division, or region. Understood? So it is all about that. Okay, so that the things can go in a smooth manner. Otherwise, there will be hodgepodge in the organization and the things may not get managed. Alright? So now let's move on to the another step. So the next step of organizing is assignment of duties. See, in the second step, what we did, we created the separate departments. Okay, we created the positions in those departments. One, the position of the head, then his subordinates. We have already created the positions. Now it's time to do the assignment of the duties. Alright, we have to assign the duties to the heads of the departments as well as their subordinates. Okay, the division of the duties has to be done very meticulously. Why? Because that plays very much important role. Fine, how? As per the skills and competencies of an individual, the work has to be assigned. Only then the purpose of the assignment of the duties can be fulfilled and the objectives of the organization can be achieved in the most effective and the efficient manner. Otherwise, the problems are going to happen. Okay, so the perfect match of the nature of the job as well as of the skills of the person who is going to deal with that has to be done. Okay, has to be done by the top level management. They'll have to plan that how the assignment of the duties will be done, who will be doing what. Alright, so that has to be done under this step. Alright, so this can be defined in easy terms like defining the work to different positions and allocating the work to various employees. Alright, as per their skills and competencies, so that the attainment of the objectives can happen. Alright, so it is about this. Okay, for example, we can discuss, like we were talking about, in deals related to the purchase of raw material. Okay, so if we have a person who has a lot of experience in the field of raw material, he can check the quality, he can read the person's face. Okay, he can come to know if any kind of flaw is there in the material, then the person can perform this function better. Okay, so the experienced person can be put here because that is really the important task. Okay, and just to go there, buy and doing the loading, any person can be put there. Okay, so now you must be understanding, okay, the nature of the work decides that who should be given to what. Okay, only then the efficiency and effectiveness can be there for the attainment of the objectives. All right. Now let's move on to the last step of organizing. So the last step in the process of organizing is establishing reporting relationships. Okay, what does it mean? See, after assigning the duties to the employees, we have to decide that who will take orders from whom and who will report to whom. We usually have to clearly define the authority as well as the responsibility. Who is responsible for what and who is accountable for what. Okay, only then the activities of the organization can move in the smooth manner as per the plan. Otherwise, there will be a chaos. Alright, if a person does not know from whom he has to take order, okay, or if he does not know to whom he has to report, then his activities cannot be controlled. Alright, he'll also be confused in matter of receiving the order, okay, and accountability of none can be fixed in case of any discrepancies. Alright, so this has to be done. In simple terms, we can say that it is nothing but creating the superior and subordinate relationship, okay, which leads to creation of hierarchical structure in the organization. Okay, so that has to be done because this is the very much important aspect or portion of this organizing process. Okay, because very soon we will be having discussion on organizational structure, which is somewhere connected to this hierarchical structure. Okay, so the establishing of reporting relationship means to decide who will take orders from whom and who will be accountable to whom. Means authority and responsibility have to be defined clearly. Alright, only then the objectives of the organization can be achieved, and the most important thing, the coordination between the activities and the human efforts can be established. Alright. So it was all about process of organizing. Now I would like to give you one example, okay, that will explain you all the steps of organizing in easy manner. See, you have not gone to big corporate houses, so you do not know how they function until unless you visit their offices and notice their functioning. Okay, but you have visited bank. Alright, I'm talking about the nationalized banks. Okay, you keep on visiting them and you keep on noticing the functions. Okay, so now I'm going to give the example of the bank. Okay, we'll be seeing that how the complete process of organizing is exercised in bank, and you can observe that on your own as well. Okay, so let's start that. So here is the example of any nationalized or commercial bank. Okay, what is the broad category of work? Accepting deposits and providing loans, right? So if you are going to open a bank, you will have to very first think about these two broad category of work. The very first step of the organizing, identification of work and division of work. Alright, so we are coming to that as well. Okay, other works are also there. Right now we are not taking example, otherwise the example will be lengthy. Okay, now identification, the broad category of work. Now division of the work means the work has to be divided into small pieces, small activities. So here deposit will be related to savings account, current account, fixed deposit and recurring deposits. Alright. Thereafter the small tasks have been divided. Okay, because all these accounts, paperwork is needed, form has to be filled up to open account. Okay, verification, documents need to be attached and the proper checking of that has to be done, providing passbooks or statements, providing checkbook and ATM cards, and for deposition or withdrawal tokens are provided. Okay, withdrawal and deposit slips are made available, data feeding is done, and the money which comes in the forms of deposit that is transferred to ATMs, RBI, etc. So these can be the various activities related to the accepting deposits. Okay. So if you are going to open a bank, say for example, then very first you have to identify the broad category of work. Okay, and then you have to divide these work into small activities. Now you have done your scan. Okay, how many activities are there and how the things are going to be managed and arranged. Understood? Okay, similarly we can see here in another category of work, this providing loans. Okay, so that can be divided into small activities like how many kinds of loan can be there: home loan, car loan, personal loan, education loan. Okay, and all these activities, paperwork is required, verification is required, disbursement of amount is needed, and then recovery of the amount is needed. Okay, so these are the small activities. Okay, so this is the example of exercising the first step of organizing, that is identification and division of work. Now let's move on to the second step of organizing, which is what? Departmentalization or grouping of the activities. So now what you can think that we just make separate section for home loan. Okay, this is the one department. You can make separate department for car loan. This is the two department. Okay, and this is for personal loan, separate department, department number 3. And for education loan, separate department, department number 4. And all activities related to home loan will be done under this department only, and there is one head for that. Okay, similarly all activities related to the car loan will be handled here. There is one head for that. For this also one head is there. For this also one head is there. Now let's talk about the deposition task. In deposition task, you have made two categories. One, deposits, and another, withdrawal. Okay, two departments are there. Fine. Here there is one head who will take care of the deposits, and here is the one head who will take care of the withdrawal. Okay, or you can make a single head as well. There is no problem, who will take care of both the activities. Okay, understood? So this is what the same nature of activities will be grouped under one department or one group. Understood? And now we'll have to create the positions as well. Okay, because you are creating one position. Fine, home loan head, home loan in charge, whatever name you want to give, you can give. You can go and visit the bank. You yourself can see that the separate designations are given to the separate people. Here one person you will find cashier, one you may find helper. Okay, another person is there who deals in the operations, right? Okay, that can be there. Understood? So under departmentalization we learn grouping of the activities as well as the creating of the positions. Fine. Now let's move on to the third step of the organizing, which is what? Assignment of duties. Now we have created the positions. Now we need to give the duties. Okay. Now who will be made cashier? That we have to decide. Cashier has to be very much smart. Okay, in the calculation, so that he may not commit mistake. All right. Okay. And now let's talk about the loan section. In loan section also the experienced people are needed. Say for example, you need to fill the post of the home loan in charge. Okay, and you have two options. Then one person who is having 5 years experience in this field and another who is just joined the job. Okay, so you will be keeping the experienced person because he is having knowledge how to do the activities. Alright, and the new person can be put some other activities. He can be put for data feeding, he can be put for providing checkbook, etc. Right? By and by he will also get the experience. Okay, so this has to be done. But here I am not saying that only experienced people can be put to the higher position. Even the new recruitees can also be put on the higher positions. I just tell you one more thing. Okay, this cashier and other activities related to the accepting deposits. Okay, for that the positions are called clerks. Okay, and for this loan section and other sophisticated tasks, the positions are there in the bank. PO, that is provincial officer. Okay, so this is all about assignment of duties, right? Now let's move on to the last step of organizing with this example. What is that? Establishing a reporting relationship. Okay, so I'll just write down here. there can be one branch manager, right? Okay, and here there can be one head of loan section, okay, or you can call it loan manager, whatever position it can be created, okay, or we can call it assistant manager, whatever the name is there, okay. One can be there head of deposits and withdrawal, okay, he can also be known by the name of assistant manager, right? Now under these there can be multiple people, okay, like one is the home loan in charge, another is the car loan in charge, then personal loan in charge, okay, education loan in charge, got it? And under these also the multiple people are there who are having different positions, okay. Similarly here also different positions can be there, cashier 1, cashier 2, okay, cashier 3, etc. Right? Okay, now we are establishing the reporting relationship. Let's consider the example from here. Okay, so this home loan in charge will take order from this assistant manager, okay, and he will be reporting only to this, right? And this assistant manager will take orders from branch manager and he will be reporting only to him, okay. He need not report to him and he need not take order from him, understood? So this has to be established. So this is called establishing the reporting relationship, okay. Who will take orders from whom and who will report to whom, understood? So I hope with this example you must have understood the process of the organizing. Okay, very soon I'll be meeting you with the another video with further concept of the organizing. Till then, thank you, bye bye.